Welcome to Parallel Universe. He has come back from the dead more times than any actor in Hollywood history. Saturday Night Fever. Grease. The career collapse. The Pulp Fiction resurrection. The rise and fall and rise again of a man whose professional story reads like a screenplay nobody would have believed if it had been pitched in a studio meeting. But the tragic double life running beneath all those extraordinary professional chapters is a story so quietly devastating that even people who have followed John Travolta his entire career have never fully stopped to look at it directly. John Travolta was born on February 18, 1954, in Englewood, New Jersey, the youngest of 6 children in an Irish-Italian Catholic family where performance was simply the language everyone spoke. He dropped out of high school at 16 to pursue acting in New York. He was performing on Broadway and in television commercials before he was 20. Saturday Night Fever in 1977 turned him into a phenomenon so sudden and so complete that nobody, including John Travolta, was fully prepared for what arrived with it. Grease the following year made him something rarer. Not just a star but a cultural institution. And then, with a speed that Hollywood still finds difficult to explain, the whole thing evaporated. The film stopped working. The audiences drifted. The man who had seemed invincible at 24 found himself professionally invisible at 30. But the professional story was never the real story. In 1991 his longtime partner and close friend Marjorie Lovett passed away. In 1995 his son Jet, who had been diagnosed with Kawasaki disease as a child and whom John and Kelly Preston believed also suffered from autism, was found to have a seizure disorder that the family managed privately and with fierce protectiveness across his entire childhood. Then in January 2009 Jet Travolta died during a family vacation in the Bahamas at just 16 years old after suffering a seizure and striking his head. He was 16 years old. John Travolta has spoken about that loss only in the most careful and measured terms. Those who know him describe it as the wound that reorganized everything, a grief so total and so permanent that even Pulp Fiction and the decades of comeback and the professional resilience that made him a Hollywood legend feel almost beside the point when laid alongside it. Then in 2020 Kelly Preston, his wife of 28 years, the woman who had held the family together through Jet's death and through every chapter before and after it, died of breast cancer at 57 years old. She had been battling the disease privately for 2 years. John was beside her throughout. He lost his son. He lost his wife. He raised their remaining children Charlie and Ella through both losses with a public composure that those close to him have described as costing everything he had. In 2026 John Travolta is 72 years old, still working, still dancing when the moment calls for it, and carrying a grief so layered and so permanent that the disco lights and the leather jacket and the Pulp Fiction suit have always been, in some essential way, beside the point. The tragic double life was never the Scientology or the tabloid stories. It was the father and the husband living quietly inside the legend, losing the people he loved most, and choosing every single day to keep showing up anyway.